Welcome to the Domovoi. This is a game made by Kevin Snow and Brave Neil, who made Beneath Flows, which was really good, even though I couldn't pronounce anything in that game. So it turns out like he's made a few games of a similar style that follow different mythologies and folklore and things. So Beneath the Flows was about Inuit folklore, and this is about a Slavic myth about the Domovoi, which is a ghost or a god or something, I'm not sure, that lives in a person's house and protects the people in their house, particularly children and animals, I think. I'm not entirely sure. It's based on a Russian myth. There was once a certain farmer who had a beloved cow. The farmer gave his cow all the grain she could eat. Is that good for cows? I don't know. However, soon the cow became sad and thin. The farmer told his friend, "No matter how much feed I put out, she remains skin and bones." At night, a moan came from the attic. He abandons the old one, leaves him all alone. The farmer went to a magical advisor who told him to take bread and salt to the Domovoi. At night, the farmer left the meal in his attic. Soon enough, the cow fattened once more. The farmer is still alive. He told me if the Domovoi envies a farm animal, he tears off his tail, rides it, and eats all its feet. Does he tear off the animal's tail or his own tail? Because I feel like if a cow's tail got ripped off, you would notice that, right? I like the art style that Kevin Snow uses. I have a tale for you, friend. Or Brave Neil, I guess. Kevin Snow's the writer, but... not one of those old superstitions. Forget all you know about such stories. This is a new tale with real heroes. First performance. Help me work it out, will you? Pass the time. Alright. Is this in a bar and I'm just talking to a stranger again? Why are so many things just me in a bar talking to strangers? It never ends well. Thank you, friend. In an old, simple place, far from a good railroad, where the minerals were too few for productive factories, the munch of March, enchained in a hut with thick cords of ice. The weather had sealed the wooden shutters on the windows, all except one, where a backwards carpenter had cut a 3-inch breach that exposed the glass panes underneath. Shouldn't you not do that? Because glass doesn't insulate very well, so then you're letting the cold in. It had been these 3 inches the spider used to enter the hut, and so, inside this old, simple place, the Domovoi negotiated with the spider. Okay? What do you negotiate with a spider? I don't like that because you can't tell if it's a massive spider or a normal spider. The Domovoi moved one step back to see the spider's entire web. See, it could be a massive spider. Each line of silk connected into a mesh that stretched from the window frame to the center beam. The spider had fortified this position, the Domovoi believed, as the beginning of a campaign to advance on the red corner, where the Virgin Mary's paper portrait decayed in the progress of time. Okay. You are in the home of the absent master Nikolai Pavlovich Gasparod. You are in the home of the absent master Nikolai, the brave man who now battles gigantic spiders. I have 300 children, master, the spider interrupted. Don't like that. The devils that raid our villages. He is the first son of the patriarch. I am charged to keep and defend this home. It is winter, master. You are covered with hair, while my children are soft, the spider continued. I've never thought about, spiders in, places like Russia where it's really snowy and cold. Where do they go? If they don't have, if they can't get into people's houses, are they just fucked? The Domovoi paused. The spider had now encased a decorative vase in her silk. Sorry, what? The Domovoi moved 2 steps back to see the spider's entire web. It's a giant spider, don't lie to me. Friend, here I am uncertain. Share your mind. How should the Domovoi advance his argument? He could invoke tradition, perhaps religion. Are spiders religious? If spiders are religious, and there are spiders in heaven, then, oof. Let's invoke tradition. Thank you, friend. Until the master has returned to maintain his familial land, which the Mer distributed to his grandfather in decades past, I cannot permit the presence of unwelcome. Okay. Such talk of homes, master. I've carried my children across field and forest. They've never known the comfort of familiar space. Old benches, ovens, beds, those are your luxuries. Would you exile my children and I into the cold? Would you deny us that connection? Yes. Because I'm pretty sure you're massive. The Domovoi paused. The spider had now encased a wicker broom in her silk. The spider moved 3 steps back to see the spider's entire web. Oh, I don't like it. Friend, share your mind. Would it be compelling if the Domovoi were persuaded to listen? Are we gonna smack her with a wicker broom? Ah, the broom? Okay, friend. In that moment of weakness, a flood of black dots rolled off the spider's back into the web. The Domovoi seized the broom and struck the web, scattering the vulnerable children like droplets. See, that's a good, metaphor. It puts the picture in your head, but the picture that it puts in your head is real not cool. Monster! Creature! The spider rallied her children and retreated through the 3-inch breach, back into the merciless winter. I feel a little bit bad. The Domovoi returned the broom to its position, the precise location it's been since his master left, and in the same moment the banished spider suffered in the cold march. He lit the oven for his comfort. Okay? Good work, friend. I agree the Domovoi would be a creature who falls back on tradition, and the suggestion about the broom. I was not intending to take the story in that direction, but perhaps it works like a surprise. Sure that the Domovoi had a late moment of assertiveness. Friend, I feel your unease. You shouldn't dwell on what could have been, because there aren't tales we perform the same twice. Okay? We're building new worlds. Even this performance will change. Characters and events will be different in your memories than the first time you heard them. Isn't that a comfort? Is it? Forgive me. I was carried off. I'll continue. Near that old, simple place where the Domovoi and spider had negotiated, the soldier took a hammer from his sack. It felt comfortable in his hand. He had swum the deep lakes, crossed the dark swamps, rested in peaceful backwaters, and survived the primeval forests. Now in this old, simple place, he would settle and build a new world. The soldier tore open the wooden shutters with the 3-inch breach and exposed the glass panes underneath. He raised his hammer. Are you about to break in to my house? Inside the hut, the burning oven blackened the walls and furniture with strata of soot. The Domovoi resented each particle. Despite routine attempts to clean, he could not combat the powerful furnace. So maybe don't light it. He had been sitting on his master's bench, trying to think of anything other than soot, when the soldier's hammer shattered the window. In the next moment, the Domovoi felt his skin melt, his muscles shred, his bones shatter, all at once. His consciousness stretched to take on the room's full dimensions. The oven warmed his newly wooden interior. Winter froze his exterior. Now, just as the threatened tortoise retrieved into its shell, The Domovoi had become the hut. Okay? When the soldier climbed through the broken window, the Domovoi felt as if he'd swallowed a bowl of thick something. He didn't feel unsafe. His physical form had merged into the walls, the furniture, the sheepskin beds, but it was too late to douse the active oven that revealed the presence of life. The Domovoi watched the perceptive soldier unbutton his holster and take out a revolver. So you've just broken into someone else's house, seen that like someone is obviously there because they've lit a fire, and your thought is, I'll shoot them. Simple creatures have simple thoughts. The soldier was the soaring eagle, the hero of the land, but the Domovoi saw a thievish fox. He was worried for the silver samovar, still full of water. He worried about the iconic towel embroidered with his master's portrait. He knew he could not defend both. Okay? Tell me, friend. What is dear to this Domovoi? Does he protect... Well, that thing has his master's face on it. What happens if I go to the oven? I kind of... Because I'm worried if I get the oven, then he gets both. Or he just throws a thing full of water on the oven and then... let's just see what happens. Let's protect the painting. It's not a painting, but I appreciate this friend. The Domovoi concentrated on the features of the iconic towel. Folded over a wooden bar, its embroidered font depicted his master Nikolai. For some time now, the Domovoi had spoken to this towel, at first to inform it of the usual routines and chores done to upkeep the hut, but more recently to share his fears and anxieties. He stored these intimate moments in his memories as he moved the individual threads and began to re-knit the portrait. Why? When the soldier inspected the iconic towel, the thread cascade, Nikolai's face crawled down the wooden canvas. His mouth rose like a zit, then settled somewhere. His knitted lips trembled, but produced no sound. The soldier, undisturbed, pulled the tower from his bar and stopped the performance. He knew only one creature had such domain over the household. I'm not scared, Domovoi. Come out, let's discuss this problem of ours. Great work, friend. I'm impressed. We've shown the Dominoi's reverence of his master, then revealed its uncomfortable connections to backwards religious ideologies. I'll continue. In that simple place where the month of March like it's freezing and they're like breaking windows and they don't have the means to fix it and like I don't know. If you like broke the door down, you could at least like close the door or replace the door, but like in that simple place where the month of March rose its furious storms, the soldier turned from the iconic towel and saw the Domovoi, sitting on his master's bench. The soldier pulled a chair to the table and considered the creature. Old hair, old bones. Is this what your master looks like, Domovoi? Address him as master, rude intruder, the spider said from the vase she'd hidden in. The Mer distributed this land to him. You must leave, the Domovoi said. Am I not a guest? Where is my tea, my bread? Would you send me into the cold like the brood I watched you banish? No, you're not a guest. You're breaking and entering. Answer me. The Domovoi pulled at his beard. I am charged to defend this hut until the master's return. No one lives here. The village is abandoned. Loose hair collected in the Domovoi's palms. Whom was your master conscripted to fight? He battles the eastern devils as we speak. The soldier paused. He considered the iconic towel. I'm sorry, friend. That war ended 60 years ago. The Domovoi sank. He could not count, but he knew this to be a large number. Your master is dead. The soldier lit a cigarette. I thought that was the gun. The cigarette burned so bright. The Domovoi searched those tiny fires. They were his master's candles, unlit for decades. Would he never return? Find a different hut. The soldier tossed the spent cigarette. Or, find a different path. He put the revolver on the table. Oh, you want to go? I'm magic. The Domovoi felt the furniture around him like phantom limbs. He had seen such a tool before. A musket his master used to kill thievish foxes. Several anxieties clustered in the house's spirit consciousness. The iconic towel pleaded to him. Its existence depended on the Domovoi's survival. They were trophies of a backward civilization, hoarded by a dead man's creature. Old relics, old sins. The soldier waited. Tell me, friend. He used a musket, his master, but this looks a bit above muskets. Does the Domovoi press the revolver to his heart or put it in his mouth? No, he wants to live. The Domovoi's survival. What is this, comrade? What are you even saying? Okay, sure. The Domovoi survives. I'll continue. In that old, simple place where the promise of progress loomed, the Domovoi put the revolver back onto the table. The household calmed, his consciousness quieted. I'm sorry, friend. The soldier threw the table to the side and raised his hammer. Is he going to try and attack me? Surely I have more power than some soldier. The Domovoi felt the blow, then the floor, then the household scream. Once more the cold hammer struck him. He tried to organize his injuries in his mouth. Salt filled his... Ooh. The Domovoi saw dark liquid on the floor and understood his mouth had filled with blood. Once more the cold hammer struck him. A bitter crack came from his hand. The Domovoi felt trembles in his arm and understood his hand had broken. Once more the cold hammer struck him. Warmth coursed his throat. Once more the cold hammer struck him. Fire started in his wrist. Once more the cold hammer struck him. Objects burrowed inside his knee. Warmth? The Domovoi smelled acid on the floor and understood he had vomited. Once more the cold hammer struck him. Wetness ran down his back. A dam burst inside his head. Welts formed on his arm. Wetness ran down his back. The Domovoi could not be certain of his back's condition. The house no longer spoke to him and understood the blows had stopped. Sometime later, when the Domovoi would reknit the towel, trying to restore the hut to its original condition, he would remember the cold spots on his flesh, all the same circumference as the hammer that had constructed them. He would move the threads to add bruises and scars to the portrait, then wounds, a hole where the throat had never been torn open, and he would discuss the household routines with his master. The portrait would part its lip, reach for his neck, and choke. At the present moment, the soldier still stood over him with the hammer. I'm not a murderer, creature. I'll find another place. But in some time, when the furious land has consumed you, I'll return to tame it. He left through the shattered window. I feel like you're a murderer. He lied, master. The village is full with peasants and other such creatures, the spider said. She had now encased the red corners in her silk. The Domovoi returned the broken glass to the window frame. When he connected the pieces, the window restored itself as if it had never been shattered. He closed the shutters with a 3-inch breach, limped to the sheepskin bed above the oven, and then slept. That's the end. That was okay. Sure. Ah, Liunia insists I become assertive. Do you realize how rude you've been? I invite you into my kitchen. I perform for you, and you disrespect me as you have. Do you think this backward tale would carry me to Moscow? I am no wrecker. Get out. What? There once lived a certain farmer. Guess this is the same thing from before. What? They just had to kick me out? Really? What happens if the... let's just see. If the Domovoi pressed the revolver to his heart. The Domovoi pressed the revolver to his heart. His hand started to shake. The silver samovar screamed at him. Yes, friend. Now push that little bit of metal in. The Domovoi listened to his instructions, but the tool did not fire. Ah, sorry, some of the chambers are emptied. Try again. Once more, the Domovoi listened, but the tool did not fire. Here, idiot, I'll show you. The soldier reached over, but flinched as the revolver fired. When he looked down, a pile of dead hair littered the floorboards. In that old, simple place where the Domovoi had been overcome, the winter storm calmed, the soldier had crossed the dark swamps, swum the deep lakes, rested in peaceful backwaters, and survived the primeval forest. Now, in this new promised land, he would settle and build the new world. Oh, master, I apologize for my earlier comments towards you. The Domovoi held me under a wicked spell, the spider said. Do not worry. This is a new land where women can fulfill themselves without negotiating with men. The soldier filled a comfortable container with the spider and her brood, where they huddled into packs to produce silk. Tell me, friend, how does the soldier build this new world? Does he cremate the Domovoi or dismantle the red corner? I mean, come on, you have to cremate him. Ugh, that's all fucked up. The soldier filled the oven with the Domovoi's remains. Once more the furnace burned. The flames transmuted the corpse into a compact mixture of bones and ash. The creature would never resurrect, as he had been emptied of magic. It was only the start of the soldier's work, but the household was now on the path to progress. Great work, friends. You've been instrumental in constructing this tale. I am concerned, though. Do you think peasants will spread this tale as one of their own? Perhaps we should have put in more humor if the Domovoi shot him in the foot. Ah, I've kept you too long, though. So rude of me. Thank you for listening to my performance. No, our performance. Goodbye, friend. I mean, because, like, I don't want him to die, the Domovoi, but also his master isn't coming back, but are there actually people in the village? And, you know, but, like, it's... This is new. A certain woman moved from her old household and invited the Domovoi to come live with her. However, the new house already had a Domovoi. When night came, the two Domovoi clawed and fought for control of the household. The woman's husband told her, "We can't have two masters. We must get rid of yours." At night, the husband beat the wall with a broom and shouted, "Depart from here, intruder." The woman's Domovoi fled out the window. From then on, there was quiet in the house. Later, the husband saw his wife's banished Domovoi in the forest, and the creature tore out his throat.